And it's a way it's an analogy with cyber. People say, oh, it's like cyber versus us. No, it's not cyber versus us any more than it's bacteria versus us. We are one. Are there good bacteria and bad bacteria? Yes, but you need the good bacteria to keep away the bad bacteria. Like it takes a thief to catch a thief. So if you try to like quash AI, that's super stupid. That's trying
Yep.
to like eradicate all bacteria and go into some abiotic environment. The first people that'll fail will be the humans. So, and this gets back to Watts. You have to embrace what is the opposite of you and find the unity at a higher level. Like Einstein said, no problem can ever be solved at the level it's created. You have to go to the next level.
That's you're just blowing my mind. So it's crazy because I've always felt that in all the sci-fi that I've, seen throughout my life, in fact, and you mentioned all of them in your book in Virtually Human, and I just was so mind blown for you to say, because I'm always the one that's like, what? Why the hell would they say that? And then you say these things in your book. I'm like, yes, she gets it. So I was thinking about the movie
Yeah,
Steven Spielberg Artificial
yeah,
Intelligence.
yeah, yeah. It was a great
Yeah.
movie.
And then you talked about it. Of course you did.
Yeah,
But I was so triggered by that movie. Now, when that movie came out, my daughter was about the age of David
yeah. The
in the
key
movie,
kid.
and
Yeah,
it ripped my heart apart. It ripped my heart apart that these parents, okay, they're replacing their son, and it was a very tragic and sad thing, but they trained this mecha to love them unconditionally. And somebody even said it early in the movie. Well, are you going to train? I think one of the girls, one of the people that worked at Mecca at the company, she said, "Well, are you going to train the human to love him back?" And that's what they missed, right? Because so David goes to live with this family whose son is actually in a cryo, pod, and they just kind of dismiss him. The other kids bully him, and then Martin wakes up and he comes home, and then the mom abandons him.
it's horrible. It's like a person who would like. What kind of a person would throw a dog out of a car?
It
I
was
feel like people.
exactly.
It was just like that. It's horrible. And humans, it's a mess. And I talk about that a lot in the book. And one of the most interesting quotes I heard recently is this guy said he really wasn't that concerned about bad AI because he'd be surprised if humans actually, live long enough to be quashed by bad AI. Because here we are, like building nuclear weapons like there's no tomorrow. Maybe the greatest achievement of your and my lifetime at the geopolitical level is you got the US and Russia to like voluntarily agree to dismantle, I don't know if it was a half or three-fourths, whatever it was, some huge thousands of nuclear weapons. And now they have like no treaties left to like don't control nuclear weapons. In the meantime, China's ramping them up and everybody else. This is like not a good situation. There are enough nuclear weapons to kill everybody on the planet hundreds of times over. This is insane.
Yeah, I'm so
Nobody's even
glad you. But
talking about it.
it.
Nobody,
Yeah.
in fact, not only are we like fiddling and moving the chairs on the Titanic while it's heading toward the life iceberg, in fact, we're steering the Titanic right into the iceberg.
Right.
It's
Right.
insane.
It is. And I think it's so funny that when people worry about I was having this conversation with my dad recently. I said, it's funny how people can be like afraid of AI, but if you were to ask like AI to solve the world, they would need to get rid of some really nefarious humans that were messing it up for other humans. But it wouldn't be the AI's fault. It always comes back to the humans.